This is Christmas time, 1987. I'm Mimi Sims Dan. What you're about to see is some old 8mm footage of movies taken by my Uncle Herbert Humphreys and my mother, Elise Humphreys Race. The footage was put together by my cousin, Anderson Humphreys, and it encompasses the years approximately 1932 to 1957. The voices that you hear will be mine and George Race and my cousin, Ellie Anderson Humphreys Harwood. This film was taken by Herbert Humphreys in 1933 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, in the midst of the Depression, we see what the Humphreys family is doing, playing leapfrog on the beach. And there's Sel with Mary and Mama and Mimi. And there's Herb. And here comes Tom with Mimi. And here come Irene and Dick with Kate, the Leatherman family. This is Hugh, and he's being held by his grandfather, whom we call Bumpa, and he's being held by Flournoy Humphreys, his grandmother, whom we all call Mama. And this is Herb holding his son with Mama in the background. Now that's Carolyn Humphreys, Herb's wife. And here's Herb in his pride and joy. I remember when he bought that car. I'm trying to remember what kind it was. Was it a Cadillac or a Packard? This is Carolyn frolicking on the beach. And in the center is Berta Brown, the renowned family cook. And on her right is Brother Jim, who was the gardener, who was unfortunately stabbed to death by my mother's gardener. And on the other side is Lizzie, who was the family maid. And this is Mimi, myself, holding some kind of a melon and chewing gum. And that's Daddy again.
And there's sartorial Herbert Humphreys in his Panama hat, courtly as usual, undoubtedly drinking rum and coke.
Now we're going to have the championship golf game, and that is Elise. And this is Dick Leatherman. And this is Daddy, Tom Sims. And there Herb's having a turn. And that's Tom Sims. And I believe that is Herb and Carolyn. And Dick Leatherman with Elise. That must be downtown Miami. Wow, look at those cars. Not much traffic in those days. That's Carolyn with Anita Ellis. And that's Hugh.
Hugh is still one of my very favorite nephews.
There comes Herb. That is Lynn.
It's Flanoy walking down the alley at 5622 Shady Grove with our famous dog, Shady. And now she's coming the other direction with the fabulous D-Day, a dog that Lee's picked up at the pound on D-Day. Oh my God, that's me. Fat, dumb, and happy.
This beautiful English-style garden was developed by Mama and maintained by Mummy.
There's Ann feeding one of the chickens that invaded the place. Another close-up of Ann. In later years, below that alley in the garden, we built a swimming pool. And using the freezing cold water that we got out of the artesian well, on Sunday mornings with hangovers, you could jump in there and come out cured.
There's Hugh driving his dad's Model T with a load of siblings and cousins. It's the same Model T that Herb drove Alec and me away from our wedding reception. That was our getaway car. There's Berta. Bless her soul, we all loved her dearly.
There's William Brown, who was hired by Mrs. Hugh Humphreys when he was 16 and stayed with the family till his death many, many years later. He was the most respected, loved servant we ever had.
This is Andy as a baby.
It was most unusual for us to have snow in Memphis, but this one was a whopper. And everyone unearthed sleds, skates, and what have you, and went down the hill in front of the house on Shady Grove.
I believe this is Molly and Denny and Flanoy with Mummy.
That's Sally. There's Sal, grinning as usual, smoking as usual. And there's Katie Harwood. Her hair a little different now, but that's Ellie.
There's the whole family with Sally. And Ann holding up the basket. That's Ellie with baby Andy back in 1950 at Easter time.
Mount Eagle is a place you either love or hate. It is a Sunday school assembly, and alcoholic beverages are forbidden, but in private, imbibed excessively. There's Elise looking very chipper. With Ann and Flanoy. Could that be Wilda? There's Elise and Fat Me. Now, on the beach, there's Wilda. Ah, here comes Herbo. We toured all through the Bahamas. Humka in the background with its owner, Herbert Humphreys, in the foreground. There's Wilda feeding Herbo. And that gorgeous creature is myself in obnoxious shorts. The company-owned Humco was a fabulous ship, really, captained by Captain Gothberg, a doughty Germanic skipper. Unfortunately, the Humco eventually caught fire and burned to the sea's edge. There's Herbo. Good picture of Herbo. There's Hugh. I remember when we were in Nassau, we went in a very pleasant bar. A group of us, Herb and some others with me, and Martin Condon appeared, and he didn't have on a jacket, and they wouldn't let him in. So the head waiter came to our table and said, "Do you know this man?" We said, "No, never seen him before." And they threw him out. There's Floyd on deck. There's Lynn on deck. Both of them look slightly seasick. We're now back in Memphis at Herbert Humphreys' lovely swimming pool. That's Bod Selden with one of his offspring, I presume. This must be the Grand Hotel down in Alabama on the Gulf Coast.
Irene Letterman and Mummy.
There's Charles McLean. There's George Webb with Peggy. There's Martin Condon, who thought he was one of the outstanding players on the court. The culmination of the fabulous Cotton Carnival was always an affair called the Rebounders that was held in various members' homes, and this one happened to be held at the place we lived on Shady Grove Road. There's Elise greeting the guests in her flowered hat. There's Anita Ellis. Look at those legs. Jean Leatherman. And that's Patty Wilson. And you can see the ridiculous uniforms that we were made to wear. There's Peggy Webb, beautifully dressed as usual. And that's Patty Wilson again. There's Julian Bondurant, one of the nicest guys. There's Wheatie, his wife, talking to Elise. That's Blanche Thompson. And Elise and Floyd Woodson. This is the fashion parade. It rained all that morning, I remember, and just luckily it stopped raining before noon, so we got the floor down and the bars out and got the party arranged. Lila Rape, who was a wonderful woman. Robert E. Lee Wilson from Wilson, Arkansas. Selden Humphreys. It's not often that he bothered to get out of the social whirl, but it was always fun when he did.
This statue was originally from the house on Lamar that Mama and Bampa built, and it was dug up when they were landscaping. They found it buried in the ground, and so they had it in the garden there, and then when Mama built the house on Shady Grove, she moved the statue out there.
There's Floyd Woodson, who married Stuart Buxton eventually. Typical pose. There's Dick Leatherman. Yeah, there's Ellie in her carnival hat. And the pictures were taken, I think, at the old polo club.
It's Flanoy, isn't it, Mimi?
Yes,
And there's Elise Race. And that's Ellie. And there's George Race.
and that's Alec and me.
And there he is. We call him the three-toed sloth because he could fall asleep at any time that he chose.
Oh, there's Ag Mallory.
Ag was the one whose parents were leaving England and were scheduled to go on the Titanic, and their train was late coming into London, so they missed the boat. How about that?
Oh, there's Dick Leatherman.
Yeah. Oh, he
And
was such an
Irene.
elegant gentleman. There's Ellie and Maud. This must be at Wilderhill Pool. Is that Herbo?
I believe it is.
With the curls?
Oh, yes. There's Wilda.
Yeah.
That
That
is
is-
George Race's mother.
Oh, is it?
Yes. And they went to the races. The races went to the races. Oh, and here I am coming home from the hospital with my firstborn,
Oh,
Sandy.
really?
And there's Alec holding his little boy.
There's the baby again. Who are those kids?
Yours. Well, they say children are people who move through your life and disappear into adults. And this
Yeah.
was Sal, just, I guess,
Yeah.
about 6
Yeah.
months before he died. Yeah, that's my mother being pushed by William Brown.
It has to be Herbo. There's Elise.
She loved to fish.
Father always said that was an anachronism about her because she was a normally excitable kind of a person, but fishing she was quiet and relaxed and intent on her purpose. There's Sal. Hello, darling Sal. Isn't that George?
That's Anne.
Wear the hat.
That's George and my son Alec, or Sandy as we call him. There he is with his grandmother, 11 months old. She was keeping him while Alec and I took a vacation in Mexico right after he graduated from law school. And that was our dog Noki.
Oh, Noki. I remember Noki. That's you. That's Andy.
That's Andy.
It looks exactly like Sims. That's Sandy again.
Yes.
Cute little tyke.
Norfleet Turner.
Yeah. Oh, and Vance Norfleet, my favorite of all gents. This is at Wilderhill.
Yes.
Julian Bonner in the boat,
Uh-huh.
I think. Alan Morgan. And there's Ellie again. Oh, God, how young I am. People with neckties on, that's curious. They look like children. Hugh Humphreys, maybe?
And Sally,
Sally.
And Lynn in the background.
Yeah.
Is that Bobby Smithwick with you?
It sure is.
And there's
And there's
Anne.
Lily and Anne.
This is Flanoy and Bob's wedding. Actually, I think this was before the wedding, probably the night before. Bobby Weaver and
Uh-huh.
Harry Gillis, And there's Hugh. Bobby hamming it up. And this is the wedding reception the next day.
Oh,
There's Larry Grew. There. There's Mimi with Herb in the background. And there's Tommy Dan. Sally.
Mama Lee's. There's Sally.